Tonight, a community tragedy.
It's just an unimaginable loss.
3 Hanover high school students killed in a rollover crash.
We'll support the school, we'll support the families any way we can, and we'll support each other as a community.
The investigation into a drive that turned fatal. A not guilty plea by a justice of the peace charged with harassment. New testimony over a disturbance in the Kitchener Courthouse last year. Gone.
I could walk in the mall without them looking at me or me feeling guilty.
But not forgotten.
As long as a company continues to exist, I think the financial obligations that customers have via contracts are still in place.
A company accused of questionable tactics disappears from a local mall. Good evening. We begin with an unthinkable tragedy that's shaken a small community. 3 high school students have been killed in a crash near Hanover. A 4th remains in the hospital with serious injuries. It's also the 2nd large fatality involving teens in Grey and Bruce counties over the last 6 months. CTV's Scott Miller reports from Hanover.
A metal cross marks the spot where 3 teens lost their lives following a lunch hour crash near Hanover on Tuesday.
It's just an unimaginable loss.
Around noon on Tuesday, a vehicle carrying 4 teens left a rural gravel road between Hanover and Durham, rolling several times, say West Grey police investigators. 3 of the teens were ejected from the vehicle and died on scene. Another teen suffered life-threatening injuries and was airlifted to a London hospital. All 4 were students at John Diefenbaker Senior School in Hanover, all between the ages of 15 and 17.
You can't expect it, you can't do anything about it, but, you know, we can come together and support each other. We'll support the school, we'll support the families any way we can, and we'll support each other as a community.
We're deeply saddened by the tragical motor vehicle collision in West Grey that claimed the lives of 3 young people and left another critically injured. Our hearts are with their families, friends, classmates, first responders, and the entire community as we all process this heartbreaking news, says a Facebook post from the Canadian Mental Health Association of Bruce Grey, amongst many groups and organizations offering condolences today.
Sadly, this isn't the first time this year that a school and community in Grey Bruce County has had to deal with this kind of tragedy.
In May, 4 students from Walkerton District Community School and their softball coach and teacher were killed in a crash north of London. Flags in both communities were flown half-staff today.
Similar heartbreaking loss.
For many of our students, staff, and families, we recognize that the shock and sadness they are experiencing may be compounded by recent tragedies that have occurred in some of our other schools. Much like those situations, we know that these students had many close connections and will be sadly missed by large networks of peers and staff, says a news release from the Blue Water District School Board. Now, late this afternoon, the West Grey Police shared that the condition of the 4th victim of Tuesday's crash has improved from life-threatening injuries to critical but stable. Some bit of good news on one of the darkest days in Hanover's history.
Our community is deeply saddened by this tragic event.
The school board says their tragedy response team is offering counseling to students this week and for as long as they need it. Counseling in the community is also being offered. In Hanover, Scott Miller, CTV News.
And a serious crash shut down a section of Highway 403 in Brant County this morning, sending 2 drivers to hospital. This crash happened around 6 a.m. east of Garden Road. The eastbound lanes were closed for several hours during that investigation. Police say 1 driver has non-life-threatening injuries. The other has life-threatening injuries and underwent emergency surgery. The cause of that crash remains under investigation. A collision outside Elmira left 2 people in hospital. Police say a vehicle hit a hydro pole at around 6:30 this morning on New Jerusalem Road. The driver and the passenger were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Crews worked for several hours to repair damaged power lines. Time for a first check on the weather. Let's head over to Karis Mapp, joining us in studio tonight with the forecast. And I think we can see in some of that footage, it's quite obvious that a lot of that snow that fell over the weekend has melted now. It really felt a lot milder today.
Absolutely. Yesterday was very chilly, sitting at around 0. Today we're seeing back to those usual temperatures for this time of year. So today we actually made it up to 6. And right now you can see with that satellite radar, most of the day was a mixed precipitation. It was a mix of light rain turning to light snow. That's going to continue on on for the rest of the evening. I don't want to give it away too much because we have more coming on later, but the northern lights could be seen tonight. So even though there is that slight cloud coverage, I would still go outside and try and see what you can see out there. We know about conditions. Let's talk a little bit about temperatures. So as I said, warmer today. Usual at this time is about 6 degrees. We hit that earlier. Now sitting at about 4 in Kitchener-Waterloo, which isn't bad for this time of year at all. Won't hear me complain. We're still in the positives. Looking at north of us, up in Wyerton, Godrich, a little bit warmer. 6 in Wyerton, 7 in Godrich. Down in Sarnia, Windsor, really warm. People in Windsor feeling that warmth today at 9 degrees. Again, we're going to see, the sun is going to come out as the week goes on, and we're going to hopefully see that temperature continue to increase as the week goes on heading into the weekend.
Okay, Karis, thank you. We'll talk to you again shortly. A Kitchener Justice of the Peace has pleaded not guilty to criminal harassment and forcible confinement in a case involving one of his colleagues at the Waterloo Region Courthouse. CTV's Alexandra Hollick wraps up day 1 of this trial.
The downtown Kitchener courtroom was filled with the alleged victim's friends as the clerk read out the charges against Justice of the Peace James Ziegler. The 74-year-old has pleaded not guilty to forcible confinement and criminal harassment in an April 2024 incident involving another Justice of the Peace. CTV News is not identifying the female complainant, who still presides at the Waterloo Region Courthouse. Today, the complainant took the stand with an emotional testimony. Court heard the complainant was sitting at her desk in her office that Friday morning with her back towards the door when she heard it slam behind her. She says she saw Ziegler standing there, appearing agitated with, quote, wild eyes. She says he then leaned over her desk saying, "I love you. I want to have sex with you. I love the way you look, laugh, smile. I love everything about you, and I want to have sex with you." The woman says she repeatedly told Ziegler she wasn't interested in him and only saw him as a colleague. She claims he kept pacing between her desk and the door, blocking the exit. She says she was terrified and thought, "I gotta get out of here. This isn't gonna end well," she told the court. The complainant says the interaction lasted 40 to 50 minutes before Ziegler eventually left. She says she encountered Ziegler a few more times that day, including an instance where he was loudly banging on her door. "All I could think of was, oh my God, I'm done for if he gets in here," she told the court. The defense disputing the complainant's claims in cross-examination. Justice of the Peace Ziegler, after he left your chambers, he never returned to your chambers on April 19th, the defense suggested. "That is absolutely not true," the woman replied. The trial is set to continue here at the Waterloo Region Courthouse on Frederick Street tomorrow, with Ziegler expected to take the stand. Alexandra Hollick, CTV News, Kitchener.
The man convicted of manslaughter and sexual assault in the death of a teen at a party in Puslinch has once again been released from prison and is living in Ottawa. Police in that city issued an alert to the community today. CTV's Krista Simpson is here now with more details on that for us tonight. Krista.
Tony, this is not the first time Christopher Watts has been released. It is also not the first time police services have put out a warning to the community where he will be living. In 2003, Christopher Watts was convicted of manslaughter, sexual assault, and sexual interference in the death of 13-year-old Amanda Raymond. Court heard she was at a party at Watts's Puslinch home where he gave her drugs that left her in a coma. He refused to let anyone call for help and sexually assaulted Raymond, wrote obscene words on her body, and took pictures and video. Watts was sentenced to 12 years behind bars. After that followed a 10-year long-term supervision order, which has been suspended more than 10 times. A recent parole board decision says he was convicted twice of breaches, both involving interactions with females under 18 years old. Watts is 64 years old now and has reached his legislative statutory release date, with Ottawa police revealing he's living in the Rideau-Vanier area of the city. Police putting out his photo, calling him a high-risk offender and saying they believe he poses a risk to the community, particularly women, including those under the age of 18. Watts is under a long-term supervision order and a probation order and has a long list of conditions he must follow, including not being within 50 meters of places where children under age 18 are likely to congregate, and not to be around any females under the age of 18, unless with an adult approved by his parole supervisor. He's not to have alcohol or drugs unless they're prescribed or over the counter. Ottawa police say the notice was issued after careful deliberation and with due consideration of the privacy concerns engaged. And this is not the first police service to put out a warning after Watts was released into their area. It happened when he was released from prison in 2015 and living in Vancouver, and when he was released in Kingston in 2022. Ottawa police say if anyone believes they see Watts potentially breaching his conditions, they should not approach him, but rather contact the service's high-risk offender management unit or call 911 if it is an emergency. Tony.
Krista Simpson live with that report. Krista, thank you. To Hamilton next, where a man is facing charges after police say he stole a public transit bus last night and took it on a joyride. But they say he also stopped to pick up and drop off passengers and even required one rider with an expired bus pass to pay cash. More from CTV's Allison Hurst.
A full-sized bus similar to this one is what was taken for that joyride.
That's honestly crazy. It reminds me of the movie Speed. That's insane. That's crazy.
Hamilton police say it happened around 9 p.m. last night. When the driver got out to take a break, the suspect got in. The 36-year-old drove a bus similar to this along the route, stopping at scheduled stops, letting riders on and off freely.
One person was looking to board the bus at the time and was turned away because their pass was invalid, and the driver made them pay the actual fare.
The joyride took the bus up Hamilton Mountain, with officers tailing it before bringing it to a stop on West 5th Street.
It comes off comically, but at the same time, it is a really serious matter. The person was driving a full-size HSR bus on our roads. There's pedestrians. There was at least 10 passengers on board at the time.
The entire incident lasted about 15 minutes.
They put them in jail.
I say it was crazy, especially when the bus driver's right there almost.
It was very dangerous for the passengers.
A statement from the city's transit division reads in part, "The safety of transit riders and HSR operators is our primary focus, and we are grateful that no one was hurt. We are fully cooperating with the Hamilton Police Service to understand how this incident occurred, and staff will work to implement any changes that would help prevent similar incidents in the future."
We're thankful there was no injuries, there was no collision. This person took a full-size HSR bus under their own control, and we're thankful that it wasn't more serious than it was.
Police say he was arrested on West 5th near Gateview Drive.
And that report from CTV's Allison Hurst in Hamilton. A Waterloo senior previously on the hook for a $6,000 skincare product contract no longer has to pay up. And it's not because the store where she purchased it has now been evicted from a local mall. CTV's Spencer Turcott explains.
The loan with Brenda Lampman will now be closed. Yes. So we did it.
Brenda Lampman never thought she'd hear those words after recently finding herself locked into a nearly $6,000 contract for skincare products from Resvera Life. Just a couple weeks ago, she was still getting her bi-weekly payment reminders.
I seen their name come up, and then I seen the text underneath it. It's a reminder of the $45 that I owe.
CTV News spoke with the 73-year-old shortly after she says she was coerced into buying products she couldn't afford.
She looked at my neck and she says, I can get rid of that turkey neck.
After that story aired, a lawyer with the Advocacy Center for the Elderly helped Lampman get in touch with point-of-sale financing company LendCare, who she unknowingly signed the contract with. An email exchange with LendCare's legal team shows LendCare agreed to close the loan.
I could walk in the mall without them looking at me or me feeling guilty.
That was in early October. Fast forward a few weeks, and this is what Resvera Life's Conestoga Mall location looks like now.
Do you see how all the lights are out? Do you see how dark it is? Why is that? They didn't pay their rent?
An eviction notice on the store's doors confirms the lease was terminated over the weekend and that all inventory must be removed by November 23rd due to non-payment of rent. But Lampman's daughter, Kimmy Gilk, who helped her mother get out of the contract and shared the situation widely on social media, received messages from victims up until the closure.
10 days ago, of a woman, her mother with dementia, also signed a new agreement with them.
So it raises the question, did Lampman get off lucky, or are those other customers still on the hook? Multiple attempts were made by CTV News to get that answered by Resvera Life and the store's manager, who we previously spoke with. The recent messages went unanswered, but Brad Davis, a former associate professor of marketing at Wilfrid Laurier University, weighed in.
As long as a company continues to exist, I think the financial obligations that customers have via contracts are still in place.
Resvera Life does still exist with several locations around southern Ontario. Davis suggests there's nothing stopping them from opening up shop nearby and signing more customers to similar contracts.
People are embarrassed or they don't want confrontation, so they will continue to pay.
Blattman won't be one of those people, so she gets the last word, specifically for the employee who she says told her she had a turkey neck.
Get better looking glasses.
Spencer Turcott, CTV News, Waterloo.
On the hook for projects from the past. Coming up, a charge that some homeowners in Brelaw say they're surprised about, and the response from their local government.
I'm Jeff Pickle. The region is out with its 2026 budget proposal. We speak with the chair of the Finance Committee, who says it's up to council to keep that increase under 5%. That story is just ahead.
Well, we saw cloudy skies with some rain for most of the day, and it looks like that's going to be the case for the rest of the evening, but sunshine is on the horizon. I'll let you know when during your full forecast later in the show.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvkitchener.ca, your home for news.
We're getting a first look tonight at the kind of tax increase regional homeowners could be hit with next year. The first draft of the region's 2026 budget squeaks in just under council's target of a 5% hike. CTV's Jeff Pickle live with more. And Jeff, you had a chance to speak with the chair of council's budget committee today. What did he have to say?
Well, Tony, Regional Councillor Michael Harris says they'll have hard decisions about what is absolutely necessary so costs don't balloon. Last year, Regional Council had a very difficult time making those hard calls on items to cut from the budget. This time, Harris hopes it's a more seamless process.
It's the billion-dollar plan steering the region of Waterloo for 2026 and years to come.
We all have the necessities that we have to deliver and the niceties that we want to have. And you have to balance both.
Staff presented council with a budget increase of 4.94%, around half as large as last year's increase of just under 10%.
So this year's plan and budget tried to do both, delivering services that people expect while keeping tax increases at an affordable rate. And we think the mandate given to staff earlier at under 5% delivers upon that.
Chair of the Finance Committee, Michael Harris, says the goal this year is no shiny new projects.
There are not many, if any, net new investments here in the community. We're going to continue to deliver the paramount services that people expect today that we're delivering while rolling back some of the critical aspects to get us in line and to keep our taxes at an affordable rate.
The region also says it has found approximately $12 million in savings, including bulky items collected monthly instead of bi-weekly, and closing the GRT service center on Sunday and holidays, and increases in commercial landfill fees. The region says insufficient provincial funding remains a major issue. They say in 2019, the region forked over $104 million for programs that are meant to be funded by the province. They say in 2026, they estimate that number will grow to $227 million.
The programs that the region delivers will remain the same, but it's costing local taxpayers more because other levels of government have reduced grants or eliminated funding for those very programs.
Harris says until the province steps up, the region will be at a disadvantage.
We've constantly for years asked for a new deal or a fair new deal with the provincial and federal governments.
This budget does not include the Waterloo Regional Police budget, who are again seeking an increase. Councillors will get their first chance to discuss the regional budget next Tuesday. There's also a public input meeting scheduled for the same day. Tony?
Okay, Jeff Pickle reporting live. Jeff, thank you. Dozens of property owners in Breslau are being told they owe more than $13,000 each for municipal services installed several years ago. CTV's Colton Weens has the township of Woolwich's response to what many call a surprise.
25 property owners in Breslau are being told they owe over $13,000 to the township of Woolwich for hooking them up to sanitary and water services several years ago. A shock to many who tell CTV News they weren't aware of this charge.
The challenge here, and we're obviously reflecting on some things that certainly could have done better. And one of them was our communication process here recently.
In 2014, as Woolwich Street South was set for reconstruction, the township asked owners if they wanted to have access to water and sewer services. 77% said yes, so the services were extended to 25 properties. When construction was complete in 2016, the township took the design consultant to court over costs. That case only ended last year.
We had foregone the initiation of the bylaw. Now, in hindsight, maybe that could have been initiated at the time, and then obviously those people involved would have been fully aware, and then that could have been dealt with, and then any future reduction could have been addressed later. So we certainly acknowledge that, and that's something that we've been looking at internally.
None of the owners I spoke to today wanted to appear on camera, but I did speak to a few who have moved here in the past 10 years and told me that they were never informed of this charge.
For those people that were around, obviously it would have been expected at some point, but those who unfortunately have recently moved in, this is quite a shock and a surprise.
Pape says communication was made to owners in 2016, but anyone who moved in after that was not told until they received this recent notice.
Looking backwards, obviously lots of areas for improvement from a communication standpoint.
Pape adds the most recent communication didn't fully describe what's expected from owners now, saying the township wants owners to let the finance department know sometime next month whether they want to pay the full fee up front or enter a 20-year repayment program at an interest rate of 6.7%. Owners aren't expected to make any payments until May of next year.
And there wouldn't be anything required until May of next year. So that was not in the communication. We are working on a new communication to be delivered to those affected residents shortly.
Colton Ween, CTV News, Breslau.
And a heads up for drivers, there's going to be a closure on the 401 near Kitchener starting about an hour from now. All of the eastbound lanes between Cedar Creek Road and Roseville Road are going to be closed starting at 7 tonight for ongoing construction. It's expected to last just one night and be finished by 6 in the morning, but drivers should be planning an alternate eastbound route along the 401 around that closure. All right, a live look from Carden Street in downtown Guelph on a milder night than we've been experiencing, at least for most of this week. Karis Mapp is in just a few moments to tell us what the rest of the week is expected to bring us, temperature-wise, and the conditions as well. And also coming up, ringing in a Christmas charity tradition. The Kettle campaign, now ready to collect for the community. But next, a nickel project in Ontario, one of the big plans in a list of projects announced by the Prime Minister today. Details coming up. All right, Karis Mapp is in tonight with our forecast. Alex is away tonight. Good to have you with us.
So happy to be back here.
Well, I'll tell you, I saw your post earlier today saying that you'd be filling in on weather today. Noticed you were wearing green, and I thought, I'm going to join the party.
I was wondering, because during the 5, Leanne was like, what are you wearing? And then when I saw you coming in the green, I said, aren't we a trifecta? Look at us go. All
Wednesday, green on Wednesday. I like it. We're thinking green because we've seen enough snow over the last little while. Now we're finally starting to see some of the green under that snow again because it's melted away.
Absolutely. So as we saw yesterday, it was a little bit cooler. Like I said to Leanne earlier, we're in southwestern Ontario. We know that it's typical for this time of year. It's very unpredictable weather at this time of year, but it's always nice when you get a kind of a warmer day like today. Yesterday we were sitting at 0. Today, back to that seasonal temperature around 5, 6, which was really nice. So it was great to go outside, get some steps in. Even as we see right here, right now in downtown Guelph, this is at the Central Transit Station down in Guelph. Tony, the last time we did weather together, I remember in our live shot, it was still sunny outside, so what a jarring sight to see no sunshine, cloud coverage though. It's still kind of dreary out there right now. For much of the day, we saw that kind of on and off light rain, that drizzle, honestly, even turning to snow at times. But at least now, like I said, the cloud coverage is kind of covering over. We'll start the new day tomorrow. And this drizzle is expected to last overnight as well. So let's take a look at our future forecast right now. Like I said, much of the day, mixed precipitation, some rain turning to some snow. That's actually going to continue overnight. We're going to see that kind of flurry turn into more rain after the midnight hour. Borealis, northern lights could be seen. Get out there and try and take a look. Even tomorrow afternoon, though, that's when that's going to continue to still light snow to light rain, light snow. That's going to be the story for these next 2 days. But Friday, as we get to there, we're seeing some more cloud coverage. And then as the time goes on, actually, those clouds are going to completely clear out. There's going to be some sunshine. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But clear skies and sunshine are on their way. Looking at temperatures now, kind of actually across the province. Right now, 0 in Pickle Lake, Sudbury, and Ottawa. A little bit cooler out in Moosonee, -1. Down in Windsor, though, they are feeling, I wouldn't say the heat, but they are above seasonal at 8 degrees. A little bit more zoned in here. We're seeing Wyerton, 5 degrees, Godrich. As you're getting closer to Windsor with that 8 degrees, even in Sarnia, currently sitting at 7. Closer to us, Mount Forest right now, they're at 3. And then we're going to go one more kind of slide in. And like I said, we're at 5, which is pretty on par with what we're seeing at this time of year, which is really nice. Same thing in Hamilton as well. So overnight, we're going to stay in the positives. We're going to be +1 overnight. There's going to be that cloud, like I said, that rain flurry mix. It's going to change here and there, so we're just going to say a mix of it all. And then looking into tomorrow, we're going to go back. We're still seasonal, which is kind of nice. A high, expected high rather, of 5 degrees, mix of sun and cloud, rain or flurries. Tonight it's rain and flurries. Tomorrow, rain or. And the almanac today, actually, the expected high was 4 degrees. We ended up getting up to that 6, which was really nice to see. Overnight low, a little bit warmer than we're expected. Back in 1964, it was 17 degrees, which I can't even really picture. But in 2019, -16.5 degrees. That's too chilly for me. Sunrise at 7:11, sunset 1 minute earlier at 5 o'clock, and into the 7-day forecast. Like I said, I promised that sunshine was going to come back. We're going to see that on Friday, but only to be met with more clouds for pretty much the remainder of the week. And over in Lambton Kent Essex, they're going to get the sunshine a little bit longer than we had. That starting tomorrow. Same situation though after that, heading into the weekend and next week, more clouds. And out in Georgian, southern Georgian Bay, same thing. Sunshine coming, only to be followed by some more cloud. They're getting some mix of precipitation, chance for some rain, flurries, showers. So enjoy the sunshine while it's coming because it's not going to last for long. Now we're going to look at our weather watcher photo. So this is from Gord McHugh. This was in Breslau. And this photo really struck me because I feel like it really encaptured what we've been seeing these last couple days. We have the snow because all of that fell. The sun shines out, it's starting to melt. Sun isn't lasting for long because we can see all that cloud coverage about to cover it once again, but kind of a beautiful day. I'm enjoying this temperature. You won't hear me complain about it.
Me neither, because it's amazing how 5 and 6 degrees feels mild now compared to those bone-chilling conditions we had just a little while ago, which, again, we're not going to be complaining about -3 in January, but we're just in that shoulder season right now where it takes a lot to keep us perfectly happy with the weather.
And we'll let you know every time.
Thanks, Karis. We'll talk to you later. Well, we will not hear officially until tomorrow, but CTV News already has a sense of what Prime Minister Carney will unveil in the second phase of new nation-building projects. CTV's Abigail Beeman has details.
Cilism's LNG is charting a new course for a better future.
A promotional video explains the Cilism's mobile LNG facility, one of the major projects expected to be added to the list by the Prime Minister in Prince Rupert Thursday.
And has North America's shortest marine route to growing Asian markets.
In addition to Cilism's in BC, CTV News has learned the Prime Minister is expected to announce a hydroelectric development project in Iqaluit, the Sisson Mine project in New Brunswick, and the Crawford Nickel Mine project in Northern Ontario.
50% of global nickel comes from Indonesia. The Chinese own 75% of those mines. We have to disrupt their stranglehold of the supply chain.
Mark Carney has faced criticism for picking projects already in various stages of development.
There's not a single project that he has launched that was not already in the making or approved before he took office.
In 2017, Dominic LeBlanc, still a minister now, said construction on the Stisson mine should start the next year.
I think that North America and Canada benefit strategically.
That mine has faced more than a decade of environmental approvals and delays. The defense minister today asked about the U.S.'s nearly $21 million contribution to it.
Our Defense Department is cooperating with our Department of Natural Resources in order to help, first of all, identify the extent of critical minerals in Canada.
These types of developments can carry dire and very expensive long-term liabilities. Short-term needs are very real in the Canadian economy. Long-term thinking also is needed.
As for the status of an east-west pipeline pushed by Alberta, no word that it will be on tomorrow's list. Danielle Smith has said she's in daily negotiations with Ottawa, hopeful that a memorandum of understanding will be ready by Sunday's Grey Cup or shortly after. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
A big project designed to level up Ontario's energy capacity. Coming up, how a storage system in eastern Ontario, billed as Canada's largest, is expected to bring a boost to the power grid.
I'm Heather Center, and a Guelph cemetery is offering a more environmentally friendly option to the end of life. It's called a green burial, and it skips embalming and instead embraces returning the body back to the earth naturally. That story is just ahead.
A groundbreaking was held today for a major battery storage facility in eastern Ontario. CTV's Siobhan Morris has more on the project, which is expected to receive federal funding.
Frozen as it may be, a groundbreaking in eastern Ontario for what will be Canada's largest battery storage facility.
It will provide enough capacity to supply energy needs to nearly 400,000 homes.
The facility, 80 kilometers south of Ottawa, part of the puzzle to meet the province's growing energy needs.
The Skyview 2 facility will store electricity from the grid during periods of lower demand, then release it during peak times.
The system should be running by 2027.
It's about sustainability, affordability, reliable infrastructure. It's about economic development. It's about powering and empowering our local economic future.
A proposed nickel mine north of Timmins appears to be a step closer to the finish line. Sources tell CTV News Prime Minister Mark Carney will include the Crawford project in his next round of major projects on Thursday. It means faster and streamlined approvals.
It's great that they're doing the Crawford nickel project. I love it. But let's get out of our way on everything else.
The Premier and his Minister of Energy want Carney to go bigger than his first round support of small modular nuclear reactors.
You want to do nation building? How could you do it without the largest scale investment, a $256 billion gain to the national GDP?
Adding more than 10,000 permanent jobs using Canadian supplies.
That's a key area that we need investment on. We need investment on the Ring of Fire. We need investment on the tunnel.
Carney has been non-committal on backing Doug Fort's tunnel under Highway 401 for cars and transit. The contract for a feasibility study has just been awarded. No matter the project.
If we want to do big things and move at the speed in a post-Trump world, we have to end the duplication between governments. Canadians don't have time for this.
That proposed nickel mine is also expected to churn out large quantities of minerals like cobalt, platinum, palladium, and chromite. It would supply the EV and stainless steel industries. And Minister Lecce says it could help loosen China's grip on the supply chain. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
And recapping our top stories tonight, Leanne Evans in studio with us with all of the details. Leanne, a tragedy that's shaken the small community of Hanover.
Yeah, Tony, it's where 3 high school students were killed. A 4th remains in hospital after a crash on a rural road. Investigators with West Grey Police say they were between the ages of 15 and 17 years old and were inside the vehicle when it veered off the road and flipped several times. 3 of the teens were thrown out of the car and died. A 4th, who was trapped in the car, was airlifted to hospital. hospital in London with serious life-threatening injuries. A small memorial grows near the crash site where a cross, flowers, and teddy bears have been laid. Kitchener Justice of the Peace James Ziegler has pleaded not guilty to criminal harassment and forcible confinement. It stems from an incident in April 2024 involving a colleague at the Waterloo Region Courthouse. Court heard an emotional testimony from the complainant. She told the court Ziegler slammed the door to her office and prevented her from leaving, among other things. Ziegler is expected to take the stand when the trial continues tomorrow.
And online tonight, Leanne, our digital team watching a developing story out of Kitchener, and this has to do with a spill in Schneider Creek.
Yes, and Schneider Creek is near the Rockway Golf Course. Staff have been working in the area since yesterday, cleaning up a suspected hydrocarbon spill. It's unclear at this time what caused the spill or where it came from, but you can read what we do know over on our website. Scan the QR code, download the CTV News app, or go to ctvnewskitchener.ca. Tony.
Okay, Leanne Evans with our top stories. Thank you very much. And we're actually going to get to something now that you were at earlier today, which is a grocery store where the Salvation Army launched their annual Christmas campaign. The initiative has been running for more than a century, with a goal this season to match the $175,000 they raised last year.
We are here at Zares Laurentian in Kitchener for the kickoff of the Salvation Army's 2025 Kettle campaign, and we are joined by Captains Kelly and Captain Corey Fifield. Great to see you guys.
Nice to see you.
Okay, so tell me all about this year's campaign and the goal we have.
Yeah, so this year our goal for our Christmas campaign in total is $250,000, and our goal for our Christmas kettles alone is $175,000.
Okay, and we'll see these Christmas kettles set up around the community in Waterloo Region. Talk about the need for these donations and where they're going to.
Yeah, so our Christmas kettles, they go to support not just at Christmas time, but they actually allow us to function and support our community year-round. So I don't know if everybody knows that, but we actually run programming all year round. We run programming for adults, but also for kids. We have drop-in programs and parenting programs and all sorts of things. We kind of look at what the need of the community is and figure out where we can fill in those gaps.
Okay, and Mayor Barry is actually going to be one of the first donations at the kickoff, and you're showing us how to donate that if somebody doesn't have cash on them, because let's be honest, we don't all carry cash these days, we have a tap donation as well. So I'll let you take the honors.
Absolutely, and the great thing is this is technology that was originally developed locally here. So let's do our first tap to give. You hear a little beep and your donation's been accepted.
And that's it. It's as easy as that. So you can donate wherever you see these kettles around Waterloo Region throughout the holiday season. Mayor, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, and we all get to look forward to Toy Mountain at the end of December, just before Christmas.
Yes, we do. We can't wait to see you there.
I hope I see Santa Claus. I miss him every year.
Santa, and I hope he brings his elves.
Oh, does he bring an elf usually?
He does.
Oh, that's exciting.
We'll look forward to it.
Thank you for that, Leanne, and a good little preview there of something we're all getting excited about too. And you can find out, by the way, more on how to volunteer and donate over on our website. The full segment available at ctvnewskitchener.ca. Well, coming up later, on the lookout for a natural light show. The Northern Lights putting on some incredible displays lately. More on that coming up. A Guelph cemetery is going green by offering a more environmentally friendly end-of-life option. It's called green burial, avoiding things like embalming chemicals and instead embracing biodegradable material and returning the body back to the earth. CTV's Heather Senerin joining us now with more on this. And Heather, this has been getting more popular in recent years.
That's what those in the industry tell us, Tony. It's all about going natural, using caskets, shrouds, or urns made from sustainable materials and ultimately minimizing the environmental impact.
When it comes to the end of life, some want the way they are laid to rest to mirror how they lived.
People are very interested in returning their body back to earth. They want to, even in their death, have that minimize their environmental impact, just as most of us are trying to live now.
Woodlawn Memorial Park is now offering green burials in what they're calling Taylor's Meadow, named after the former longtime general manager.
This entire area has been seeded with a native wildflower mix.
Current GM Rebecca Kidd says green burials follow the 5 principles set by the Green Burials Society of Canada.
So that means no embalming, direct earth burial, so you can be buried in just a simple shroud. There's no use of liners or vaults. Ecological conservation and restoration, meaning we are not going to be maintaining once the meadow is grown.
Communal memorialization is another principle, meaning memorials are kept simple and natural. At Taylor's Meadow, this is where the names and dates will go of the people buried here.
Our communal memorialization is very unique. It is a boulder that came from our property. About 30 years ago, it was excavated out of a foundation being dug.
The final principle is optimizing land use, making the most of the space you have. Taylor's Meadow also includes a scattering garden for those who are cremated, and it features uniquely engineered soil.
This particular soil blend actually turns cremated remains back into soil, thus nourishing the plantings that are in that garden.
There are many options for environmentally friendly burials.
We used to always ask people, what shade of green are you?
Brumble Funeral Home offers green burial caskets with the Green Burial Council stamp of approval. They can be used in any burial site, not just green ones.
They like the approach and also the aesthetic nature of them. Very, very natural in its appearance.
As for Taylor's Meadow, it's been open for less than a month, and they've already made arrangements for about 10 people.
So that when a death occurs, they're not being put on the spot and making these decisions while under emotional distress.
Rebecca Kitt says this was always the vision of former General Manager Paul Taylor to have a green burial at Woodlawn Memorial. She says planning and discussions around it started around 7 years ago. Tony.
All right, Heather Centerin with that report. Heather, thank you. And we'll have more news coming up. First, let's head over to the weather wall and check in with Karis.
Well, cloudy with some rain today. Why not throw in some snow into the mix overnight? The positive being that the temperature will remain above zero. Coming up next, I'll let you know what to expect first thing in the morning with Wake Up Weather. Stay tuned on CTV News. Tonight at 7, E-Talk, followed by The Big Bang Theory. At 8, The Floor, plus Georgie and Mandy's first marriage at 9:02, and The Amazing Race followed up at 9:30.
Tonight, a $2 million civil suit hand-delivered to an inmate blows the lid off a predator's secret.
I have never seen this kind of horrific assault.
A serial rapist's identity, long protected by the courts, can now be revealed.
Future people that he will be in contact with deserve to know that he's a risk.
Tonight on CTV National News and ctvnews.ca.
Okay, we're going to check in with Leanne one more time for some of the stories we're watching for later tonight. Leanne.
And Tony, we are getting a clearer picture of what the future of conservation authorities could look like in Ontario. Proposed maps have been released as the province looks to reduce the number of conservation authorities from 36 to 7. We'll have more on how Waterloo Region and Wellington County could be impacted. Also tonight, the Premier was asked today about the impending ban on speed cameras set to take place Friday. We'll hear more about what Doug Ford said about the next steps coming up at 11:30. Tony.
Okay, Leanne, have a great night, and thank you very much for that. And Karis is back with us at the desk for a look at our wake-up weather for Thursday. We're kind of cruising through this week. I mean, I woke up today and went, oh yeah, it's Wednesday already. Sometimes you have those weeks where it feels the opposite.
Yes, actually on Monday I was like, yesterday felt like a Monday to me, but today I said, yep, we're in Wednesday, we're here halfway through the week.
Might have to do with the steady improvement in the temperature this week.
Well, we'll hope so. I feel like when we look at our wake up weather right now on paper, this is the wrong one, but we'll just carry through. Come on, and one more.
There we go.
There it is.
Love it.
On the monitor there, it says, by 6 a.m. we're going to be feeling positive 1 degree. The only thing is it feels more like -5. So this might be misleading. You might think, oh, it's going to be nice and breezy, cool. It's not. By 8 a.m., +2, feeling more like -3. And then by 10 a.m., a chance for showers, but feeling more like -1. So we are steadily getting warmer throughout the day. Like I said, we are in that seasonal feeling of time, high of 6, but we're going to be high of 5 tomorrow. But either way, we're getting there.
No, November is never a month where you go, oh, I love the weather all month.
Because it's so, you never know. Like, you could love it one day, and the next day it's like, oh, we're here in a little early winter today.
It's a moody month for weather, that's for sure. Well, finally for us, this is something incredible to look forward to, a natural feature. The Aurora Borealis, of course known as the Northern Lights. They've been visible lately as far south as Florida.
Wow, and as CTV's Ashley Bacon tells us, we could be in for another treat tonight.
A delicate dance in the sky, the Northern Lights on display across the Northern Hemisphere.
Occasionally we get these big flares or eruptions that happen on the surface of the sun and throw out lots of particles into space. These fly through space and then they hit the Earth's magnetic field, and when that happens it produces all of these lights that we see up in the sky above us.
The increased solar activity leads to heightened aurora activity, meaning most of Canada will again have a chance to catch a glimpse tonight.
The sun goes through these periods of being very active and then very calm over a period of about 11 years or so. And so right now in 2025, we're at the peak of that.
Depending on the different gases' exposure in the atmosphere, the color of the lights varies.
Particles come from the sun. They hit different gases in the atmosphere. The green and red aurora that we see are caused by oxygen getting hit by these particles. We get different colours when things like nitrogen in the atmosphere get hit by this radiation from the sun as well.
But what is the best way to view aurora?
When it comes to aurora and the supermoon and like comets and meteor showers, binoculars work quite well. You really don't need anything to look at an aurora.
If you take a picture on night mode on your camera, then you should be able to see the Northern Lights just on your phone as well.
If you wanted to get a closer look at the light, a telescope could help.
You have to collect enough light, and when you're doing it using your eye to see, the more light you collect, it's that simple. You're going to see more. When you hook a camera to a telescope, it changes everything. So what you want to have is basically a telescope that you're going to use.
Now, of course, if you miss out on the chance to view the lights tonight, whether it's because of the weather or opportunity, don't fret. Experts say the sun will be at its peak solar cycle for the next year. Ashley Bacon, CTV News, Waterloo.
So we will be getting more opportunities. That's good, because I always seem to miss these things when they happen.
I was saying to Leanne, every time I hear about it, I want to go outside and see this phenomenon and be part of something, but I'm either asleep, it's cloudy, I never see. Have you seen them live?
No, I haven't. So maybe tonight's the night I'll go outside and look up.
Cloud coverage, like I said, we'll see, but hopefully.
Back at 11:30. Good night.